I'm Tisha,
I'm Loren.
and this is the Open Booked Podcast. Today we are talking about Onyx Storm again, the
Yes.
third in the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. There is so much to unpack on this, so this may end up being like a 5 or 6 or 10-part series just because there's so much to it. And will anybody really complain?
I don't think so. I think this is a hangover cure you guys all asked for. And every time I think I have my theories figured out, I see another one. So I added in some more notes here from the notes that I had already prepared for what was supposed to be a singular episode last week, where we got through one section out of 5. So if I had to guess, it will probably be 4 to 5 parts if we
Yeah.
continue with our small current events updates at the beginning, which we have done since we started. So I feel like we have to at least cover a little bit of, especially this year, y'all. Like, finally, 500th day of January is over.
Yes.
So happy February, happy birthday month to me.
Yeah.
It's a month-long celebration. Not really, I'm just joking around. It's usually a one-night celebration with crawfish. So, okay, let's get into yapping. What are you reading?
I am reading Psycho Shifters because I told Haley I would, but I'm
Yeah.
listening to The Night We Lost Him by Laura Dave. And Julia Whalen is one of my favorite narrators. She did Gone Girl, and she's done several others that are kind of that ominous, like undertone, but it's a very enthralling story. So I'm like 4 chapters in, and it just got to the like, who done it? What are we trying to figure out? So it's nice.
Nice. I think a whodunit would be good for me right now. One thing I saw on TikTok about narrators, and I don't know if you knew this, apparently they get no detail of the book when they get like offered the job. So let's say they have to do like a Scottish accent and they can't do one, they're like screwed because they don't tell you anything. It's like, you're this book, it's this long, well, like it's just like a snippet, and then they say, do you want the job or not?
Wow.
And an audiobook narrator, she had like the check mark and everything. So she was like legit. I don't remember her name. We probably listened to her books before. But she was like, yeah, so if you can't do accents, you have to be mindful of like what genre, like, I mean, if a man's not comfortable reading about, a man written by a woman in a smut book, then, you got to be mindful of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was interesting. That kind of surprised me.
Which is weird because I've looked into it, and there is a platform that allows you to like get started, and it gives you pretty detailed information. So I don't know if that's just like when you're bigger,
And
it's
it's like
like,
the big release,
yeah,
like Onyx Storm,
yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. What
I
about you?
okay, yeah, this is what I'm getting into. I sent you a video on my For You page. Apparently, the Onyx Storm girlies are the same as these Devil's Night girlies because I keep seeing women jump on tables and start like dancing to My Prerogative, the song My Prerogative, and then it's like, I'm forever so and so's girl. Or he says, I love you, but this guy dances on a table just to make you smile. And I'm like, okay, number 1, love that song. Number 2, love a goofball. What book is this? So I checked the hashtags in this Devil's Night series, so then I Google, and it's Penelope Douglas, the queen of underage, borderline underage sex and group sex. Okay, she's so I started it.
I hate it, but I gotta try it.
Here. And the funny thing is, I actually had my mom had like gone on my wish list for Christmas, and she had like bought a bunch of stuff in my wish list, and we hadn't seen each other, so she just brought this. And I'm like, the day I start it is okay. Apparently, there's a scene at there's like 10 books in this series too, by the way. I don't know if it's 10.
I didn't know that.
There's a shit ton. The Devil's Night.
It's like, I can appreciate a long series, but when it gets past like 6, 7 books, I'm like, it's so daunting. I don't even want to start it.
It's 6 books. I lied. Oh, wait, no. There's like some,
but it's not done yet.
1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. Yeah. And I don't think it's done. But it's honestly it's real weird, dude. It's real weird. I'm gonna finish it because I've only DNF'd one book, and it may get better, but it's giving the same like ick that Credence gave me. And no, her writing is great. It's just
The
the
specific
stories.
scenarios. Yeah.
It's exactly, they're not my vibe. But I haven't gotten any smut yet, but I can tell it's bubbling. It's brewing. But yeah, anyways, I thank you, Book Talk. You have convinced me to read this series based on people dancing on tables. And I just hope this scene lives up to it, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, and then I found some other little fluffy book on my Kindle to read as I'm going to bed. I don't even remember what it was, but I'll let you guys know next week. Okay. Should we get into some lively Baldoni updates?
Yeah.
A couple of things. Biggest news is that there is a trial date set. Justin and Blake, no, sorry, Blake and Ryan tried to get the lawsuit dropped, and the court said no. The judge said no. And then the court date is next year. Like right at a year from now, right?
Damn.
Yeah. It's for sure 2026 at some point. I don't remember if it was like pretty close to the time frame, but
I could have
it's
sworn it was February 12th of this year, but I'm
uh
sure they did everything they could to postpone it so they can go through all of the discovery. Because that's what, from what I've seen in like local courts, discovery is
it's
what holds people up a lot.
because it's like the research, yeah, to build their cases. March 9th, 2026 for sure.
Holy balls.
Yeah.
I'm sure they pushed it out to try and reach some sort of agreement in the meantime.
Unless Justin folds, he had said he didn't want to. He wants the truth out. I
Yeah.
just hope it's televised. I need another, Johnny Depp style trial to consume my life for a little bit.
100%.
So, in other news with that same related thing is Taylor Swift's marketing team made a statement. This is officially her marketing team that her and Blake pretty much aren't friends anymore. I don't know if that's true or not, or if she's just trying to protect her image. But also, if I was her and found out that somebody was using me as a dragon, I don't know that I would not be friends with them, but I would definitely have some problems. I'd be
Yeah.
like, I would at least say, like, I didn't like that. That made me uncomfy. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
We're friends. I don't care who we, like, that's how I would feel. But who knows? They're also out of touch with reality that maybe they don't even give a shit. I don't know. But, yeah, and then also related to that, Colleen Hoover, I think we talked about this, deleted all of her social medias. I'm sure she was getting attacked. But she also has quit writing. Did you hear that?
Yeah. And I'm sure once all of this dies down, all of her movies have come out, she'll be bored and she'll have to go back to writing. But I get
Money,
in the
she might not.
meantime, yeah. But she's been getting flack for years because of her son, because of the things she writes about, the fucking balls.
The baby
Just,
balls.
yeah, and I mean, I know as a writer or any sort of artist, you have to have things that kind of get you through. So I get adding those little things in as like inside jokes with you and your friends or you and your spouse. But when it brings that much attention to you and your writing, like negative attention, I can see why you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and also like we talked about this, no offense whatsoever. She's obviously 10 times more successful than I am, but we determined on our rereads that all of her books kind of have similar storylines. So
Hmm.
maybe she's just out of ideas. Like genuinely, she may need to experience some life in order to get some inspiration.
Yeah.
But I mean, the socials thing I think we talked about last week. I don't remember the actual announcement of she's quit writing, but Book Talk's very happy. I've seen several paid posts on my For You page being like, thank
Mm.
God, and dancing, and which I'm kind of like, that's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Because Colleen Hoover's probably the one who got all of us and
Hmm.
then all of these people into reading in the first place again,
Yeah.
back from our nerdy middle school Twilight days. So it's interesting how people can turn so quickly.
Hmm.
We have plenty of things to say about plenty of her books, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't want anyone to like quit. It's
Yeah.
just not the goal. But any
Yeah.
thoughts there from you on that?
Yeah, I think the same. I wouldn't want anybody to quit. I would just want them to find ways to change their style or just get better so that more people can appreciate it.
Yeah. I think that goes true in every aspect of life, not just for writers. Like you get a new job, you learn new things and just keep getting better. Um, yeah, this is pretty sad news. We're not going to talk about it for a long time, but I'm sure you all know what we're talking about. The plane crash.
Hmm.
I'm going to try to be sensitive because of the amount of life that was lost is insane,
Hmm.
but also at the same time it shouldn't have happened. And the
No.
fact that it almost happened the day before
Hmm.
and the exact same scenario and they had to do evasive maneuvers tells me
Hmm.
there's something going on. There's more to this than we know. And this is not my conspiracy theory head talking. This is like, that doesn't make sense. A Blackhawk is the top of the food chain. How
Yeah.
could it get in the way of a commercial plane who was doing nothing wrong? I just I don't understand. They're not just going to let some newbie fly a freaking Blackhawk. How much do those things cost? Like
A
that's
fuck
not
ton. Yeah.
the crew's experienced. Air traffic controller told them to move. Like I don't understand how this happened. It had to be like, did they have a medical emergency? Like that was my first thought, or
Yeah.
was it on purpose? Was it did the plane malfunction? Did the Blackhawk malfunction? And we know the plane did. I don't know. I feel like there's more to it. They're not telling.
And I hate to be the conspiracy theorist in this and think that it was intentional, but it doesn't happen twice in the same 24-hour span. And it doesn't happen where they're flying over 100 feet above their like limit because of the safety of this. Like something's happened. Of course, everyone's going to try to blame a reduction in funding for the FAA when they're already understaffed. And we've seen errors like this happening for over a decade. So it's not any one administration where someone's having to work 18-hour shifts because somebody called in or somebody just wasn't there. So they're falling asleep on the job and that's how accidents happen. But the like control tower warned them
Mm-hmm.
multiple times, said, hey, you're getting really close. Hey, do you see them? Hey, what's going on? And still just could not avoid that collision when it's the most maneuverable aircraft known. Like,
That's what they're made for.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just doesn't happen unless it's intentional. Like,
Yeah.
I just can't.
And I also think one thing about that all these tragedies, honestly, there's been so many in just the first month of 2025.
Hmm.
It shows kind of how humanity looks to blame somebody for everything. Like whether it was before the inauguration and everyone was blaming whoever is the president is going to get blamed. Whoever was the
Always.
last president is going to get blamed. It just do you think that Biden or Trump would intentionally do that? I personally don't. I don't think it's any one person's blame, and I think that's like a fault of
Hmm.
us as humans is like that's all social media is. They took the funding away. Well, if you listen to it, there was someone there doing their job. It wasn't
Hmm.
the flight tower's fault at all. It was the Blackhawks' fault. Military trained, experienced crew. That's why
Hmm.
I thought if it wasn't intentional, it had to be some sort of medical emergency, like had a seizure, a stroke,
Hmm.
heart attack, or something to where they lost control. Because in my mind, I cannot imagine a seasoned crew flying a Black Hawk running into a commercial plane.
Yeah.
I just can't see it. The other thing I thought of, which if this goes viral and we get canceled, we talked about this that there was a plane that hit the Pentagon on 9/11 that right before the JFK documents were supposed to be released. Okay, have you flown into DC before?
No, I haven't flown
Okay.
in. We just drove.
So, I've flown into this airport where this happened within the past year, okay? I've flown in a lot because for some reason the freaking layovers go there from our
Yeah.
airport. You either
Yeah.
get Charlotte, North Carolina, DC or Dallas Fort Worth. Those are the 3 airports. So I've actually flown into that airport a lot. Like I said, as recently as within this year. When you land, the river's right by the runway. It looks like you're going to land on water at first. And you can very clearly see the Pentagon. It's literally right next to the airport. Very clearly. Like, it's so cool the first time. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the Pentagon. Like, that's like huge. You can like identify all the, like, it's like in the heart of everything, okay? So my head is, were they trying to take out a section of the Pentagon again? And failed? If that's the case, fuck you guys all, because these people lost their lives, and I don't know. Part of me just wishes that it's just an accident, but I'm not naive.
Yeah. Wasn't there like a whole sports team on there?
The, like, Olympic ice skaters.
Yeah.
And their coaches, like, some of them were as young as, like, 11 and 14. Like, a whole family died together. 2 kids and parents.
So
I've seen a lot of people say, like, if I was the parent, I'd just be glad I was with them, because I wouldn't want to live after.
God, no.
Yeah, so... Yeah, no, it was like a team. And then there was just like a group of people that had been hunting in Kansas. And then like a group of a guy gang and just some, I'm starting to see the stories. It's so sad. It's those people literally were like, oh, we're about to land. Nothing to worry about. Like, yeah. I just hope that it was instant and not painful for them, honestly. That's so stupid.
Yeah, awful.
Then there was another plane that was actually flying to pretty close to where we are from. Where were they? Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. It was a child and her mother she just got a successful life-saving treatment and was on her way back to Mexico, stopping in Springfield, Missouri, which is about 2 hours from us, to go back. And they crashed into a metropolitan, I can't say the word, metro area in Philadelphia and killed several people in a car, in a house, all of them, medical team, doctor, pilot, like, just heartbreaking. I haven't heard what the reason for that crash was. Smaller planes, I feel like, crash a lot more frequently than commercial planes, but I haven't heard what the cause was for that.
Yeah, I haven't either. And then last week there was, I think it was Wednesday, there was a plane here at XNA that had to circle for quite some time apparently because there was something wrong with the landing gear. I guess like all of the staff, all emergency responders were out there. I was like, what the hell? This is weird.
Yeah. That stuff makes me so nervous. I've flown off and on, like, as a kid. We'd fly sometimes, not all the time, but I was, like, comfortable with it. It never, like, scared me until last spring. I had a really, really scary flight right after that pilot tried to, like, remember the dude who went crazy on the plane? He was a pilot on the plane, not flying it, and tried to, like, I don't know, take it over, open a door, do something crazy.
Yeah.
And so that part, I was like, okay, this is weird. But it was fine. I got up to go to the bathroom, which I never do on a plane, but I did because I was in the very back seat. And I was right next to the bathroom. There was no one next to me. I hate making people move, so that's part of it. And I went in the bathroom, and the turbulence hit while I was on the toilet. Guys, this is probably a little TMI. But I couldn't stand up and get my pants up. It was so bad. I was hitting my head. And of course, then I start getting overstimulated. And I start spiraling. I feel out of control. My pants are around my ankles. Like, it was... Okay, so finally, this took me like... And guys, I just peed. I'm going to be real. I just peed. So I wasn't in there a long time. This hit quick. Yeah. And then I finally get my pants up. I get my hands washed. I'm like, what the fuck? And I get back, try to get back to my seat. It's literally right there, and I almost couldn't. Like, they were in the intercom being like, sit down. Everyone sit down. Yeah. And I'm like trying. I hit my head really hard. Gave myself a headache. So then I'm like, I need to distract myself. I finally get in my seat. I get buckled. I'm trying to read my book. And it's literally going like this. It was like, not just like the bumps. It was like sideways. Yeah. It was so bad. And then people kept trying to get up. And the captain's like, everyone, seatbelts on. No one get up. No flight service. Flight attendants are not permitted to get up. If you're having a medical emergency, like, what, literally pretty much the only reason you could get up as if you were having a medical emergency. Like, it was the worst.
And even then, you don't want to, because then you could die too.
Yeah, like, it was so dangerous. Shit was flying everywhere. I was like holding on, so scared. I didn't cry. I'm not a crier, but I almost did. That's how bad it was. I was terrified. When we landed, I teared up because we were safe.
Yeah.
And Jesse was picking me up, and it'd been like when I'd already got my bag, whatever. I was traveling by myself for work. I already got my bag and everything. I get to the car, and I'm still going like this. I am shaking so. Jesse's like, what the fuck happened to you? I'm like, I'm telling you. So now every time we fly and there's turbulence, I'm a little jumpy.
Yeah.
But before that, I wasn't scared. But it's gotten really bad since. And now all these, I'm like icing on the cake, guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, plane crashes. Let's move on to something else. The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is Sunday. I hope both teams lose. I like either team that's in the Super Bowl, so they both lose.
Yeah. So I know it's the Chiefs. Who are they playing?
Eagles.
Eagles, that's what I thought.
Let me say
I like
this.
both teams.
I like the Eagles. My two top hated teams were the Eagles and the Cowboys growing up. Don't know why. Hated the Eagles and the Cowboys. Now it has shifted to the Chiefs and the Cowboys. I hate the Chiefs because I don't like Travis Kelce. I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. Guys, cancel me. I don't like them. They're everywhere, okay? I don't like them. I can't stand the way Patrick Mahomes talks and walks.
Can't either.
But do I respect them as players? Absolutely. They are extremely talented. Absolutely. Do I think the referees are on the Kansas City Chiefs? Yes, I absolutely do as well. Look at the facts. I will argue about this all day. They are definitely favored. But the Eagles, I don't know why my hatred for them went away. Maybe because I do like Jason Kelce. Love him. I love his wife, Kylie. And Jalen Hurts, who's their quarterback now, is actually like a really good dude. He's like, does so much good. He's a nice dude. I like him, so maybe that's what took it away. I don't know.
I hate that it's happening after he's retired, so they can't like play against each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Last time I saw the videos of their kids, the one girl, she's like 2 or 3, and she's like, Dad, you didn't win. Uncle Travie won. But their mom has gotten so famous for having, you know. But there's
Mama
quite a few families like that in the NFL. You have like the Watts. There was 3 of them at one time.
Yeah.
And then Diggs. There's 2 Diggs.
And of course the Mannings.
Mannings, of course. Yep.
And they're big in college and professional.
Yeah. So, no, the family, I mean, obviously good genes are good genes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, no, so Super Bowl, we're not throwing a party. We usually do. I'm not going to any parties. I'm not doing nothing. Probably record this podcast.
Yep, and that's about it.
It sounds great.
Jeremy will probably turn it on, and I'll probably eat some cheese dip or something.
Yeah. I'm not even excited for the halftime show.
I don't even know who it is.
Kendrick Lamar.
I mean,
I'm not a rap girl.
Who knows what he could do with all of this going around?
Yeah. No, honestly. But I was so upset at some guy on TikTok the other day. He started saying, we have not had a country halftime show, blah, 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 since 1990 something with the Cowboys and Travis Tritt and Tanya Tucker. Bitch, Shania Twain was the Super Bowl halftime show when I was a kid. I'm looking up when it Super Bowl.
And there's been they might not have been like the headliner, but there have been other country artists for sure in the last 5-10 years.
Okay, so she was at the 2003 Super Bowl halftime show. I remember watching it because I was a little kid obsessed with her. But apparently, Sting and No Doubt were the headliners. They brought her out.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet that's what's happened. Because honestly, if I had to pick my best halftime show, most people say like Michael Jackson or Prince. No. When Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, Eminem, that was the fucking show. 50 Cent coming upside down. That was the halftime show. Nothing has beat that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one was really good.
Everyone thinks since Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift have a song that he's going to bring her out. Since we know she's going to be there.
she'll be there, yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too. She's not gonna want to like change. She would miss some of the show, I bet.
Yeah. And she's been performing for 2 years. She's taken a well-deserved break.
Yeah, seriously, 3-hour shows, like
Yeah.
insane all over the world. Seriously. Okay. Last bit of yap before we get into the meat and potatoes, as I like to say. I just saw this. This is for our serial killer besties. They have successfully found the identity of Jack the Ripper 130 something years later. Apparently they kept a scarf that had DNA on it. Which, I mean, come on, it was like the 18 somethings. They were probably sloppy. Like if we had today's DNA capability back then, there wouldn't be anything unsolved because they were fucking sloppy. Because they could be. I mean, even back in the 70s, these serial killers getting caught being they're sloppy. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a different time. But anyways, it was from a blood relative's DNA matched 100% a descendant of this guy. So this was in England, and everyone assumed that he was English, but he's actually a Polish barber. So the fact he like rippered people is interesting that he's a barber.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just saw this. I think, this is just coming out like a day or two ago. This is like hot off the press.
Yeah, I hadn't seen anything about it. That's wild.
I always get on TikTok right before we start recording just to get some like current events. I mean, that was one of them that I came across.
That's wild.
Yeah. Okay, shall we get in? Shall we dive in?
Yeah.
Okay, as we discussed last week, I had this set up in sections of the big reveals, open questions, theories, moments for crying, favorite moments, that sort of thing, quotes, that stuff. So, we finished the big reveals last week. We talked about all of the things that surprised us, or we were like, was just news, an update, a change. So now we're going to get into, we just finished the book. Here's questions that we need answered. I'm not going to talk theories for these because a lot of people think that they have this stuff figured out. And if I know anything about Rebecca Yarros, you probably don't have it figured out. So we'll just do straight questions and then we'll go into some of these common theories that we've seen on TikTok or have come up with ourselves. Being said, some stuff we stole off TikTok, okay? We're not trying to take credit for anything. I don't want anyone coming at us. I've seen a lot of that. I think I said that last week too. We are just spreading therapy post Onyx Storm.
Yeah.
Battle brief.
Obviously, we're going to spoil it. So if you care about that or haven't read it, come back when you have, because you'll probably have some of the same questions or you might have answers, and you can leave a comment with that because we want to fucking know. We're all trying to figure it out.
I don't care if your theory is off the wall. What I was trying to say there. Off the wall, crazy. Send it. We love it. Okay. Questions. The first question as I finished this book was, where are the missing riders?
And who are they? That was my biggest question. Who are the 4? Because they said 5, and he said, well, now that she's here, 4.
Yes. So who are they? I think based on who's there, everyone is assuming it's Riddick. Garrick, Riddick, Arik, and Bodhi. Because everyone knows, they're already talking about Xaden. Everyone knows about Xaden, so I don't think they're including him in the missing riders.
No. I think they're like looking for him because he says, how many of those desiccations, after what we just saw, how many of those desiccations can we attribute to Xaden?
Mm-hmm. The Onyx Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next question. Where are the missing eggs? These questions are all coming from the last chapter, guys. Most of my questions came up in the last chapter. So, they said 6 are missing, but they're going to double check.
I think they went to Umbriel.
Yeah, I agree. That island said they wanted 12.
Mm-hmm.
So, did they take 6 from Orisha and 6 from the Vale? Because there's 2 dragon grounds now.
Yeah, possibly. Or they just took 6 to be like, okay, this is what we can give you now, and we'll figure out a way to get you the rest later.
One of my candle customers came by the booth to debrief yesterday. She thinks that Andarna stole 6 Iron eggs and gave it to him. That's why she came back.
Okay, I could see that.
I think that's actually a great theory. I haven't seen that on TikTok or anything. That's like from her brain, which I think that's great. So if they have 6 stolen from there,
yeah.
And I think that's where Arik went. He flew. They saw him flying south. He never would betray. I think he had to. He knew what was going on, and he was doing something too. Or he was going to get that priest so that they could get married, or something. He was doing something.
Yeah.
Okay, that leads us to the next question. Why did they get married? I think that one's a little clear. We think because of the succession, he wanted to give Tyrandor to her.
Mm-hmm.
But that also leaves why did they get married if there's Bodhi? Bodhi doesn't want it. Maybe Bodhi
If
threw
Bodhi
a fit.
didn't turn.
If Bodhi didn't turn. Maybe Bodhi threw a fit and because he doesn't want it. He's made that abundant. This entire book, it is heavily foreshadowed that Bodhi wants to fight at Xaden's side, not rule a fucking kingdom.
Which only makes me think that he turned.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be at his side. Yeah.
I just think that she's not going to make it the most obvious person. That's the only thing that has me second guessing Garrick and Bodhi. Mm-hmm. But what the marriage? There's another theory with this that they got married and because your soul chips away.
Yeah.
Maybe they did some sort of marriage bond, pact, whatever. He keeps saying, it's yours now, talking about his souls. You have my soul. Mm-hmm. He said it throughout the entire book.
Yeah.
But he refers to his kingdom or his territory
as her.
As she or her. So the fact he said it, he wasn't talking about the kingdom, even though it is hers. Yeah. He was talking about his soul. So that makes me think it's in that ring or it's in with her love as long as she loves him. I don't know. Whatever. I want Sigale's. I want to know what him and Sigale were talking about in his mind and his point of view chapter. I want a bonus chapter of the entire dialogue there of all we can do is ask. She loves me, she'll do it. I need all of that context. She promised. Yep. Okay, next question. Did Imogen erase the memories? You asked me to. Was she referring to right after it happened, she told Imogen, erase my memories, or is she referring to way back in the day when she had Imogen promise that she would do whatever it took to protect Xaden? So did Imogen just go back to that promise? Or is this another instance where Violet was like, take them? Or did she take them from that prior thing? That's kind of my thought.
I think it's just this instance because she knows she's going to be the first interrogated. And I think because there's another theory that says that like Brennan knows. He knew they got married. He knew all of the stuff that happened and where Xaden is. And he's testing Violet. He's like, what do you know? What do you remember? What's the last thing you remember? So I think it was very intentional. There's a whole, select group of people that know everything that's going on. And they assume these people either had their memories erased or they're not going to tell, no matter the interrogation tactics. And they know that Violet would be the first one interrogated.
Yeah, and that brings up my next question kind of adjacent to this is when Imogen erases memories, can she see them?
I know, I wonder that too.
Because if she can, then she's in trouble too. But then that makes her an intrinsic, like Dane's level.
Yeah, so I don't think so.
But could she just say, okay, set back memory to this time, and then it's blank? Like, how does it work? Like a clock? I don't know, because she'd have to know how far back to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. How did she perfectly time it to erase up to the point where
she defeats Theophany? Yeah.
Yeah, Theophany.
Stephanie.
T-Pain. Thermopolis Rinaldi. Okay, this one, I've seen so much about the Brennan and Dane siphon marks.
Yeah.
The deal is, Rebecca, intentionally made it a point for Violet to notice and say it out loud. That tells me it is of somewhat significance.
Mm-hmm.
Is it as significant as everyone thinking it is? I don't know, but people are really hung up on it because they assumed, like the rune on his arm, is for Brennan is from venin.
Mm-hmm.
And Dane had a run-in where someone tried to venin touched him and tried to like suck the life out of him, right? So they both had marks. So they would think that after Sloane they would have marks, right? Or no, okay, this is what it is. People think Brennan's mark is from Naolan siphoning to save him, but I think it's from Naolan turning venin.
Yeah, because they call it a rune scar
They call it a rune.
multiple times. So I think it's a rune that can be reactivated later somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So I think somehow him like he like pushed his power, because that's what Jack Barlow did in that first like battle or whatever with Violet. He like tried to push power into her. So I think that's what Naolan did when he turned venin. He pushed power into him to save him, and he had to get it from somewhere else. So that was just like a contact point. That rune was like his, what's that thing that Violet carries? The little, it's like a little, I just picture like a little jar that she uses to like control her magic.
Her conduit.
Yeah. So I feel like that rune was like the conduit for him siphoning into Brennan.
Yeah. My note here says my theory is those marks only come from venin. Obviously, Sloane is not a venin. I think Naolan turned venin to save Brennan, and they were in love. I think that's a very, very common theory.
Yeah, pretty much everybody can assume that.
And Tairn won't talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
And he does not say anything about him being dead. He says, we do not talk about the one who came before, blah, blah, blah. So I think there's more to be told on Naolan for sure.
Yeah, I feel like he'll come back around in this fourth book because Xaden's obviously turned. He's going to be like a maven and really powerful. So this is all going to be like Violet trying to figure out how to use love to save him, because that is the only thing that can change people.
Yes, and the other thing to think about here is Violet very clearly asks Theophany if she is because she said, "Oh, he's gonna love me for this," and she says, "Who Berwin and Theophany, whatever says." You think I answer to that fool? So who is she answering to? That's my biggest question from the conversations between them two. There's someone higher. I need to understand the venin hierarchy. Because Berwin is a general, but Theophany is a maven, but she doesn't report to Berwin. So is there different sections? Is a general, like General Sorengale, before rest in peace, was over all of Vazgaiath. So I would think Berwin would be over everything, but no, because she reports to somebody else. Or answers to somebody else. So theories on that is it's Papa Sorengale, Naolan, I don't know. Those are my two biggest ones. I also actually thought the King Tari might be venin. We haven't seen him since the first book that one night. I don't know.
Didn't he come when Halden was doing something?
I don't think he came. Halden and Auric have been handling
everything
for them. And the king is sending books to Violet as part of her like research, but no, since the one night where they celebrate defeating Xaden's dad, the king was there. That's the only time we even see him, I think. Something to think about. I haven't seen anything about that like on social media, so I don't have anyone like to back me up with page numbers and shit, but I was thinking about it. The kids are big. I don't know. What if it is what if it's the brother? Halden's twin that Xaden killed.
Yeah.
Yes. What if Xaden didn't actually kill him? Because everyone thought Xaden's dad or whoever killed Brennan. Xaden killed Brennan. Who did they think killed Brennan? I think it was his dad. I'm gonna look.
I don't know. Is that gonna be in the Empyrean wiki?
Yeah. Finn. Yeah. Finn Ryerson was thought to have killed Brennan Sorengale. So then Mama Sorengale obviously kills Finn Ryerson. Brennan says the same thing. Brennan says Naolan saved him, but it cost him everything.
over and over and over.
Over
Everyone
and
says it.
over. And then that's what everyone's saying about Zayden. It cost him everything. That means he's venin. You can't convince me. Also, what's Naolin's last name?
I don't know that I've ever heard it.
Because everyone thinks that the last name that Brennan goes by is actually Naolin's and they possibly got married.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why he changed his last name. It says Orisha is his final resting place. Status deceased. I'm on Empyrean Wiki. Dragon, Terranok. He was a siphon. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard for a rider with a signet that powerful to accept his limits. After all, bonding makes you a rider, but resurrecting someone from the dead, now that makes you a god. Okay. That makes you a god. This is from Fourth Wing, Chapter 8. Doesn't Theophany say, why worship a god when you can be one, as being venin? This is it. Confirmed. The verbiage is the same. She's so intentional. Rebecca, you're too smart for us pure mortals. Oh my gosh. The exact nature of Naolin's supposed death is unclear. It says supposed death.
I think there was a part in Iron Flame where something's mentioned about Naolin, and they say that you're right, that the name that Brennan was using was Naolin's last name. So that it was.
I can't find his last name anywhere.
I can't either.
So I think it's assumed, but yeah. Okay. During the Terrorist Rebellion, Naolin attempted to revive Brennan through a signet, even though there is no signet capable of resurrection. He depleted himself in the process. During events in Iron Flame, Violet mentions Naolin to her brother and is left under the impression that there might have been something more going on between Brennan and Naolin prior to his death.
Asarai. Brennan Asarai.
Asarai, yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel Asarai.
Reddit, what you got? Okay. People are saying, the name Asarai keeps bothering me. If I'm not losing my mind, I think it's an anagram for sage heir. Has this theory been explored? I'm thinking there may be a connection between the Sorengales and the sages. Maybe Brennan found out and was pissed, that's why he faked his death. Okay.
That's wild.
This person says, that's a new one to me, but I've been distracted because it said that it translates to resurrection, which kind of seems on brand.
Yeah.
Don't forget Naolin means resurrect and Mard means dead. Always wondered if the Sorengales were the representation of the three brothers from the fable. Violet the dragons, Mira the griffins, and Brennan the venin. I do think Brennan will turn bad intentionally or unintentionally somehow. Leaves the fable repeated in order to defeat the venin. Also, all the people we hate with no redemption ride orange dragons, except Imogen. She has an orange dragon. I think they're just very unpredictable, is what I read.
I just saw the theory this morning that each dragon kind is connected to one of the 7 gods.
Yes, I saw that.
So they all have something.
I think Riddick's luck. For sure he's luck.
And they said that the initially 6 most powerful signets have only been seen all at the same time once in a lifetime because they're so dangerous, and it was their power that was able to end the war. But it's not just the good side having the power, it's the bad side having a counterpart to the power, and they cancel each other out. So that's what caused the end of the war. So we have a dark wielder, or we have a shadow wielder, we have a lightning wielder, we have a dream walker, and the
precog.
So I'm what are the other most powerful signets? I'm sure the memory erasing Imogen has to be one of them. And then I'm sure, who else was it? It can't be Quinn because Quinn died.
No, I really think Rhiannon being able to move shit is kind of more rare as well.
Yeah, so that's 6. But where's the other one?
Yeah.
So I'm I don't know.
I don't either.
Is it one of the first years? Oh, it's the siphon. Sloan.
Oh, it's for sure Sloan. For sure Sloan, yeah.
Yeah. So we have those. So who are their counterparts as venin that are going to be the end of the war, the peace, because that's what the Irids want. They want evolution and peace. between the two worlds. So
Yeah.
there's so much.
Yeah, I'm making more notes as we're talking here.
I feel like I've seen that Aes Sedai name somewhere else though. Like I feel like I heard someone else
I
had it too. So maybe
Googled it.
somebody mentioned it as
Yeah.
Neolins, but I swear I remember it because Violet mentioned something about it. She's like, "Is that where the Aes Sedai name came from?"
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you find it, let me know. I did some Googling, but
Yeah, Google's no good.
sometimes, yeah. Okay, we'll get into this theory later. Okay. My next question here. Damn, we're almost at an hour. We're just gonna be able to get through the questions. We're gonna have to do a whole theories episode.
Yeah, easily.
Okay, maybe two. Okay, next question. Why did Andarna come back, and how did she know to come back?
Because the bond was never broken.
It was never broken, but they were so far apart. Don't you lose part of the bond the further apart you are?
Think typically, but they're not typical. I
She's
think
pure magic.
she's pure magic and Violet wields magic.
Power.
So, yeah, so they can't ever not really have that bond. They can't sense each other as well, but I think Andarna could definitely sense her and knew.
Sorry. I just had the theory. If you guys aren't watching on video, sorry. I was very weird. As you're saying that, Tisha, the brain is firing. We're on all cylinders here. There's smoke coming out of my ears. Okay. Naolin. We're just on this deep dive about Naolin. His signet was a siphon, but he tried to use power that wasn't his signet to save Brennan, obviously successfully. Let's say he did it not being venin, for shits and gigs. Who's his dragon? Taryn. Violet is said to have not. She wields the sky. She wields power. I think her signet is whatever the fuck she wants it to be. It manifests in lightning because she likes storms. She liked storms as a kid. And it's Taryn. He's a bad motherfucker.
And he knows it.
And he fucking
He
knows
kills it.
He's my favorite
And yet your
curmudgeon.
wings can carry the weight of your ego.
Man, Andarna and Taryn's banter is second to none, honestly.
100%.
We may have to do an entire episode on our favorite one-liners from Riddick, Andarna, Taryn, Xaden. Yeah.
I know I was still listening to it yesterday, and of course the part where his jacket got messed up and he's like, and I fucking hate sewing.
My husband and I do that all the time when like something's going on now, or like he was playing Call of Duty and he, when you're playing, you can kill someone just by going like that. And he's like, I hate sewing. I died. I was almost crying.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, seriously, the one-liners, especially in Onyx, like Riddick is funny in all three books. Taryn is funny. Undarn is funny. This book,
but they just come into their
top
own
tier comedy.
Yeah.
Yes, I was giggling as much as I was crying.
Same.
Okay, so we think Andarna came back ultimately to save Violet, which she did. And how did she know to come back? We think that the bond was never really broken. I think that the Theopold guy, or whatever his name is, you know who I'm talking about? Her family.
Yeah.
Leonardo. Why do I think
Leothin.
Leo, okay. He just is really, really powerful, and he was able to block it and make it feel like it was gone. Also, definitely a new moon moment. Just the circle around her sitting in a chair, that was Violet at the part when Andarna left. Literally new moon does. Okay, this is my last question. If you have any more after this, feel free to add. Why was Violet the only one who could communicate to her dragons in the Isles? My theory...
Because their power is stronger.
Because Andarna is pure magic, like they keep saying, and somehow she was keeping her and Taryn both going. Because of the bond. I think somehow Andarna and Taryn have to be bonded in some way, shape, or form. Not like a mating bond, obviously. More like a familiar bond for them to share a rider. There just has to be something more between those two dragons.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And it may be like an adopted familiar like parent, because they like took her in, like they're like her parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she's so adorable, sassy, and vicious. She has
Yeah.
the most vicious mom and the curmudgeonist dad.
Yes.
Any other questions you want to add, or you want to call it for part 2?
So I realized it this morning while I was finishing my third listen. So there's two of these, what do they call them at the beginning?
Like the little snippets at the beginning of each chapter?
Yeah.
I don't know what they call them.
I feel like it's like a histograph or a something. I don't know. I don't know. There's a specific name for it, but I just call it the little blurb at the beginning.
Blurb at the
So
beginning,
there's
yep.
so there's one that says, while most deities allow temple attendants to choose their timeline of service, only two require a lifetime of dedication: Dune and Loyal.
Mm-hmm.
For both war and love, change souls irrevocably. And then when Arik leaves her the knife or the dagger, he leaves a note that says, where is it? I've got way too many highlights.
I know, me too. I kept clipping.
A gift from one servant of Dune to another. I must warn you, only those touched by the gods should wield their wrath. I will pray to her, Dune, that she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who curries her favor. Her path is still not set. Reacquainting herself with Malik?
I guess Malik.
Or is it Loyal?
Those are the two that require the lifetime of service. So she couldn't choose one or the other because the path is not set, because she would have to choose one or the other.
And death, to meet Malik, to me, would mean turning venin.
Yeah.
Because your soul is not alive. But if that's the case, then it says reacquainting herself. So did she die? And that's why her hair changed. And that's why Papa Sorengale took her to all of the isles to try and find a way to save her.
Mm-hmm.
Her soul, at least.
Okay, so then if he did something to save her soul, and then they get married and Xaden's soul is bound, that saves him from losing his soul when he turns venin. Okay. I like this. I like this a lot.
Like,
this is good.
Yeah, because I heard that. I was like, wait, reacquainting herself with the other who curries her favor. So who is it, Loyal or Malik? And did she almost die? And that's why she was touched by the gods to save her. Or he tried to dedicate her to
And they
save her.
wouldn't. They just touched her because her path wasn't set. I think her marrying Xaden and doing whatever she did changed her path. And it's set now. That's my opinion.
Yeah, because even on Umbriel, when the priestess was like, did you choose this path or was it chosen for you? She said, I chose it. She said, well, I can see that your path is still open. And if you ever choose it, Dune would accept you.
But the only thing that, like you've said, is love. So Loyal. What if Xaden's dedicated to Loyal and she's dedicated to Dune? I wonder if we're gonna get to like meet the gods in the next books. I would think, as shitty as it's going on around, that they need to show up.
Yeah. And I'll save my other one for when we discuss theories, because as soon as I said that, it just went out of my head anyway. So, but yeah, I had a really good theory about Lyra and the first 6.
Yes. I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we want to try to go through like moments that made me cry really quick?
Yeah, we can do moments that made us cry. Or laugh, either one.
I'll let you pick either one because I don't look like...
We'll do cry. We'll do cry.
And then we can do theories and then the other on the next one.
Yeah. And when I say cry, I don't mean like actually physically started crying. There is a couple of parts I did, but I mean more like got really upset and was like, you know. First and foremost was when Taryn got knocked out when they were in the tornado. I thought he was gonna be gone.
Yeah, I was scared. I was like, what happens?
Yeah. Like, can Andarna hold her now? She hasn't been doing flight maneuvers. She ain't gonna be able to. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
When Andarna's family was an asshole to her after she did her cute little story time.
Yeah, I think all of us were really upset by that and really just wanted to go kill all those Irids for being mean to her.
Even
she's just a baby!
Like, she's just a baby! Riddick was like, oh my gosh, is that Andarna? She's incredible. She's fierce. I'm like, yeah, everyone would hear Andarna in love with her.
Yeah.
When Mira got her throat slit, dude, I went
Yeah.
no freaking. I don't like love Mira, but I know she's an important character. Like if she
100%.
honestly, like it sucks, but I just know that would like change,
Everything.
impactful to everything. Exactly.
Yeah, especially since she's the wards beyond the wards.
Yeah, for sure.
They'd be
She's super
fucked.
powerful. Yeah. When Andarna left,
I
that
did
got me the
cry.
most.
Yeah, I cried. Because it wasn't even that she just left, it's that right before Leothan like blocked the bond, because he didn't break it, he blocked it. Violet could feel the like agony of Andarna. Like she wanted to go so bad, but she didn't want to leave Violet. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to break the bond. Like, we're bonded. Our lives are these other dragons. Like, it's all connected. And he's like, it's magic. Break it and you can rebond later if you choose to.
Yeah, they made magic sound so much simpler, and it's because they used the sky magic. We'll get into that on my theory, and not
Yeah.
the ground magic. I
Yeah.
think dragons are pretty much venin. They are, and then they channel from the dragon. Anyways, when Andarna came back, that was a good
Yes.
though. That was a
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. That was so sweet. But also kind of scary because she was like, it's like a boulder flying, but it has eyes. I was like,
Yeah, how she can camouflage is very cool. Yeah, no, I
yes.
love that. I'm just put the ending in general. It didn't
Yeah.
feel done. Where's Zayd and this that it just was. It was a lot and a little, and it just was very emotional.
Yeah. It just makes you feel like empty. Like, what should I feel?
Yeah,
Like, should I feel sad that Zayden has turned and is potentially gone forever? We may or may not find him again. Um, Quinn died.
yeah.
Like, people are missing, eggs are missing. Like, there's just so much. And there's so many emotions. It's like, I don't know what to feel. So I just don't feel anything.
I think somebody else is dead too. We just don't know it yet. Somebody who's missing, at least one person is dead.
Yeah,
And
since
with the
Rebecca
people
said
that are
that.
missing, I am not okay.
No,
I don't want any of the people that are missing to be dead.
no,
So, yeah. So she said somebody doesn't make it to book 4. I think she was intentional with those words.
100%.
Okay, we just said when Quinn died. So sad. This is one that I started to cry and then I switched to a laugh. When
Same.
I thought the chef stabbed Riddick and it was just his jacket. Because Violet's like, oh no, and then he goes to pull it out and she's like, no, 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 no.
No,
It's like
she's like trying
just
to
his
hold the
jacket.
blood in. He's like,
Uh-huh.
I love you too, Violet.
Yeah, literally, like, love you too. It was a cry but then laugh.
And that's
If
why
anything happens to Riddick.
I don't think it can be Riddick that turned, because he is the only one, like he said it multiple times. He's like, he's the only one who's loyal to Violet alone. Everyone else
Yeah,
is loyal to Zayden. He is loyal to Violet. He's like,
yeah,
and what is going to be the line where I can do something because I know you won't?
yep. He's got her back. Everybody needs a Riddick.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the emotional moments for me. Any others? We hit them all.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So that is it for part 2 of Onyx Storm. Hopefully next week we can get it finished up and there will only be 3 parts, maybe.
We'll see.
So follow our socials, subscribe to our YouTube and or Spotify. Make sure to leave us a comment if you agree with any of these theories or think we're just crazy, or if you have any other theories that we need to discuss next week. And notes help, but yeah, we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.